Alright, so we're going to be talking about Unit 2, Lesson 2 of Geometry. I didn't do Unit 2, Lesson 1 because it's pretty self-explanatory. But Unit 2, Lesson 1, we're going to be looking at angles and angle relationships, the lines and their angles. So let's first take a look at the relationship between the lines. So if you see perpendicular lines are two lines that intersect and form a right angle. As you can see here, it's a right angle. And the way they they go through each other. Parallel lines are two lines that do not intersect. As you can see, these two are parallel. They do not intersect like the perpendicular lines up here. So the relationship between these lines. Parallel lines are two lines that do not intersect and are coplanar. Now coplanar means that they're on the same plane. So if you look down here, this line right here, A and B and C and D, these are both parallel lines. Okay, and the reason they're parallel is because they're on the same plane, which is this sheet of paper right here. Okay, and they do not intersect. And the symbol that we make is the parallel lines. So line AB is parallel to line CD. Now perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines are lines that intersect and form a right angle. So if you look down here to our diagram, our two lines that intersect and form a right angle are C and D and are A and B and E and B. So they're going to intersect and form a right angle. Okay? Alright, so let's go ahead. Skew lines are lines that do not intersect and are not coplanar. So it says down here CD, so line CD, and line BE are skew lines. And the reason why they're skew lines is if you can see this line here and this line here on the same plane, but when you have dotted lines here, that means that this line is actually not going to be on the same plane as CD. Therefore, BE and CD are on two different planes. So let's go down to the relationship between the lines. Now we need to identify the relationships. It says think of each segment in the diagram as part of a line. Which of the lines appear to fit the description? So what line is parallel to AB and contains D? So we need a line that's parallel to AB. Remember, it's a line that has to be on the same plane, which means it's got to be on this same square here and needs to contain D. So that is line DC. It is parallel to line AB. Let's see. This one says, B says perpendicular to AB and contains D. So here's AB, and it needs to be perpendicular, which means it needs to form a right angle with AB. So if we look here, we've got DA. So if we extended DA out, it would actually be perpendicular to AB. Now C says skew to AB and contains D. So remember, that means that the line is not parallel and it's also not on the same plane, but it contains D. So here we've got DH. These two lines are not on the same plane and they do not intersect. So it is DH is skew to AB. Now D says, name the plane that contains D and appear to be parallel to plane A, B, and E. So if we look here, we've got A, B, and E. So this plane here, which is on the side, A, B, and E, is parallel and it contains D. So that's going to be this plane over here, D, C, G, and H. So this plane is parallel to this plane over here. Alright, so example 2. It says relationship between the lines. Think of each segment in the diagram as part of a line. Which of the lines appear to fit the description? So you're going to do this for your homework. So go ahead and do example 2 as your homework. Write numbers 1 through 4 and answer the questions. Now 2 says parallel and perpendicular postulate. Now, the parallel postulate says if there is a line and a point not on that line, then there is exactly one line through the point that is parallel to the given line. So P is parallel to this line here. Now the perpendicular postulate says if there is a line and a point not on that line, then there is exactly one point through the point that is perpendicular to the given line. So here we've got perpendicular lines, and P is the only point that is perpendicular. Now we're going to identify some angles that are formed by transversals. A transversal is a line that intersects 2 or more coplanar lines at different points. So this is your transversal here, and it's going to intersect 2 of these coplanar lines here. So which line is the transversal? It's T right here. Okay? So now our interior is our area in between these lines. Think of the inside. So these 2 lines here, the inside of these 2 lines is right here. The outside is the outside of these lines, which is out here. Okay? Let's go over here to identifying angles formed by transversals. So alternate exterior angles. Now it says describe alternate exterior angles. So your alternate exterior angles. Now the word alternate means opposite. So if we see this angle 1 here, the opposite of that is angle 2, which is here. And both angles are on the outside of the 2 lines. So angle 1 and angle 2 are called alternate exterior angles. Let's go down here to alternate interior angles. Now remember what I said. In between these 2 lines, all of this in here is called the inside or the interior. So angle 3 and angle 4 are interior angles. Now, these 2 are opposite as well. Remember, opposite means on opposite sides. So 3 and 4 are on opposite sides, and they're both on the inside. So they're opposite interior angles. Now, over here, we are talking about same side interior angles or consecutive angles. Now, this word consecutive, write this down. The word consecutive means one after the other. So 5 and 6 are one after the other. Now remember, are they on inside or are they on the outside? They're on the inside. So we've got, and they're on the same side. They're not opposite, they're on the same side. So 5 and 6 are called same side interior angles or consecutive angles. Now we're going to identify angles formed by transversals. So this is called corresponding angles. So it says describe corresponding angles. So there are 2 angles, one is interior and one is exterior, and they're on the same side of the transversal. So if you can see, angle 7 is on the inside and angle 8 is on the outside. Now, 7 and 8 over here would not be corresponding. Corresponding means that they're on the same side, one's inside and one is outside. So 7 and 8 are corresponding angles. Now over here it says identify angles formed by transversals. So go ahead and do this one for homework as well. It says list all pairs of angles that fit the description. So write the angles that fit A, corresponding, B, alternate exterior, C, alternate interior, and D, consecutive interior. List 2 pairs of supplementary and 2 pairs of vertical angles. It says identifying angles formed by transversals. So example 2 says identifying angle relationships. So again, look for a transversal. Here is your transversal. Now, angle ABD, so if we see here, A, B, and D. So this is right here, just this one part, because we did not say angle ABC. That would be the entire angle. we said ABD, so it's this part only. And angle BDC, so we've got this part here. If this is your transversal, then these two are going to be alternate interior angles. Okay?